So this is the 4th video that I'm doing on a 5-video series on self-publishing on Amazon's KDP Kindle Direct Publishing. And if this is your first time publishing, I highly recommend that you watch videos 1, 2, and 3 before you watch this one. Watch them in sequence. If you have already watched that, that means that you've already set up your KDP account, your Kindle Direct Publishing account. You've affiliated a bank account to that, and you know how to do the artwork for your manuscript or your book. So in this video, I am going to talk about paperback, how to load your paperback, how to publish your paperback on Amazon. And this video is not going to be in real time. Hey Simba. This video is not going to be in real time. I'm going to speed it up, but it's still going to be a really long and boring video. However, I want to walk you through all the steps very thoroughly, so bear with me. So without further ado, we'll dive right in. At this point, you have already set up your KDP account in videos 2 and 3, and you've also made your book cover. So now we want to upload a paperback. So we just click on the paperback option. It's in English, so you choose a book title. This is a fictional book that I'm uploading. It's called Morning Coffee. There is no subtitle, and it's also optional, so you don't have to fill that one in. There's also no series number, nor is there any edition numbers to this book, which is all optional things that you can fill in if you want to. The next part is quite interesting. That's your author's name. So you put your own name there if that's the name that you want on the book, or you can choose a pseudonym or a pen name. Very few places you can do that, which was largely part of the reason why I chose to go with Amazon, because they do give you the option to use a pseudonym. Then contributors, anybody who helped you with the book, an author, perhaps an editor, you can fill their names in there. And then a description. I'm just copy pasting a little bit from Little Red Riding Hood in here so that we have some text to work with. Is it your own material? Yes, it's my own material. I own the rights. And then we get to keywords. I did say in a previous video that you should start making notes. Have like a little file, a little page like this on Word or somewhere where you write down things that you think of throughout the whole process. Keywords, categories, a summary, a blurb, anything like that you write on this little notepad of yours. So I've already saved a couple of keywords that I think might be applicable, and I'm going to fill them out here. You'll see that you have only 7 options here for keywords, and that really sucks. However, this is paperback. This is why you publish paperback and ebook, because if you do, you don't get 7, you get 14. You get 7 for the paperback and 7 for the Kindle. So for that reason alone, you should publish on both formats, both paperback as well as Kindle ebook. Then when I'm done, I'm going back to that little notepad of mine and I'm highlighting the words that I used for the paperback so that I don't repeat them later on when I do the Kindle upload. Now, categories. This one's kind of tricky as well. I write fiction, so that is at least easy. And then I could say general fiction, but I don't really write general fiction. It's really quite chicky and romancy. So I'm going to scroll down and just pick some romance titles. Now remember another thing, if you do choose romance under the categories, don't use romance in your keywords. So your keywords and your categories count as separate entities, and they can be searched for. So don't double the word romance, for example, because then you're wasting a keyword or a space that you could have utilized better for people to search. There's lots of things online that you can go to, YouTube videos and generators and things that can help you find the right keywords in the right categories. I'm not too concerned about that, but I know a lot of people are, so you decide how you want to handle the keywords and the categories. I'm going to go romance general and romance contemporary on this one. And then again, I'm going to copy that and paste it on my little notepad so that I remember what I used on the paperback and I won't repeat it on the Kindle. So categories are done. Does this have something for children under 18 years old? They probably shouldn't be reading what I've written. And now we are asking them to create an ISBN because I don't have one. So they will create an ISBN for you, and it's right over there. And again, I'm going to copy that and put that on my notes, because you use that ISBN number quite a lot when you set up things or when you want to refer to the book or anything like that. So I'm just going to type that in here, and I'm going to save this one as the paperback ISBN, and then later on when I do the ebook, you'll see I'll add also the ebook equivalent of that in there as well. Okay, you got your ISBN number. And now the format of the book. You can choose black with cream paper. I like white, so I'm going to use black print with white paper. And I quite like the size that those old cowboy novels were written in, and that's a 5x8. So I use 5x8, and then no bleed. I think the bleed means that it goes over the page or something like that. If you're just writing, it's probably not a problem. And then your cover, do you want it matte or glossy? That's everyone's own preference. I prefer matte. Now we get to the upload part of the manuscript. So I'm going to go to a Word document with a fictional manuscript, The Morning Coffee by Mickey Mouse. So the first thing you want to do is the layout. I think right at the beginning, set your paper size correctly. So you remember we just chose that 5x8. And luckily, I have had a software update, and this one allows me to do 5x8, but my previous software did not, and that was quite a nightmare. That took a long time to figure out how to get the page to change accordingly. You can download a template from Amazon or from KDP. I did for the first one, and then I'm just customizing it as I go. You put in your name, title of your book as the header, and it will show up as a little watermark on every page. Every even page is going to be on your left, and every odd page is going to be on your right. So that's easy to remember what you should put where. This is on the right page. You need to write all of these copyright things. Oh, and there we go. See? That's you already need to use that ISBN when you set this up. So I'm going to just paste that ISBN that we just got in there, and then you've got to put your author's name there with the year. This is all compulsory, by the way. This is by their template, so you have to put these kind of things in, but you can download that. I'm going to leave a blank page, and then there's a little scribble there, or a thank you or whatever, and then you get your content page. So what I didn't show very clearly here is how I added that table, and I'll show you a little bit later. What's important though is when you're writing all your chapters, you go to that styles key up there under home, and all of your chapter headings, chapter titles, you tag them as heading 1. See, so that's chapter 2. I tag it as heading 1. I apologize if you already know this. I just found this out and I was quite fascinated by it. So chapter 3, I tag that as a heading. Chapter 4, I tag that as a heading. Now, if you go back to your content page, because you need that content page to be accurate per page, per number, and everything when you load it. So you see there's only one chapter. So I go to the references at the top, update the table, update the whole document, and now you'll see all the chapters that I've tagged as heading 1 and heading 2 are showing up there. So where you get that table is under references, and then on the top corner over there you'll see tables of content, and that's how you initially add the table. And you can customize it. It can have like a line under it or different types of writing or whatever you like. You can change it the way you like. Right, we're going to save this, and you probably need an editor or someone to look over your work, and if you do need to hire someone, you can use this page. It's called Upwork. I've used it a couple of times. Anything that you can email, you can find a freelancer here. It's basically like the Airbnb for freelance work. You can find web designers, you can find editors, translators, anything like that. So I usually go for short-term project, and then I put a fixed amount on it as well. And you can do this on your own. This is quite self-explanatory. You know, a description of the job, how much you want to pay. Do you want to pay per hour? Is it a fixed price? Do you want to put a date on it? And then you choose whether you want freelancers to contact you, which I don't recommend. you go and contact freelancers. That would be better. So now your manuscript is written, it's been edited, and it is ready to be uploaded to KDP. So you go back to your KDP account and you find the upload paperback manuscript and click on that. Then find your file on your computer and simply press load file. After you've uploaded your manuscript, you want to do a cover. Now I've done the cover in the previous video, so I'm not going to do that again. So I'm going to go straight down to the bottom where it says launch preview. You have to do this and approve it before you can move on to the next step of this process. So I've sped this up, by the way. It might take a few minutes to get everything together. But once it's done, it's going to present like this. So you can see we did a cover there, and you can skip through the pages on the side. You make sure that your titles are on the right pages. You can see the odd numbers are on the right side, the even numbers on the left. There's your content page. And so far, everything looks pretty good. Those little lines show you that you haven't gone over. On the far left, you'll see that there's some tips there of things that you should look for. For the most part, this looks good, so I've approved it. And because I've approved it, I can now move on to the next segment. But before I do, I'm just going to double check everything. And also they tell you how much it'll cost to print your book. So you cannot sell your book for less than that amount. And this particular book is $2.15. That would be US dollars. All right, final page. I want to sell my book in all territories, so I've chosen that. Now you have to decide on the price that you want to sell. They give you the minimum and maximum that you can use. I'm going to go for $5.99, and then you can see on the right side what your royalty would be, what the printing is, etc., etc. You can also look at the other marketplaces that they would sell your book in, what the royalty is, and so on and so on. This expanded distribution has to do with bookstores and libraries and stuff, and I'm not that interested, so I'm not going to check that box. And yeah, then you're good. Before you publish this, I would recommend that you get a printed proof, which is why I keep going on about the time, budgeting the time, making sure that you have enough time. The printed proof looks like this. It's got a big line on it. You can see I've already put lots of stickers in it, notes. Now you just get the lay of it, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a final draft. You see if all the words are printed right, if it looks nice on the page. Does the font on the outside look nice? Do you like the glossy cover? I did not like the glossy cover. I changed this to a matte cover. And then you can decide. If you're ready and you like everything that you have done, you press that publish button. And then lots of things can happen. For example, you could get an error page. With one of my publications, I had a 7-hour error page. So it says there's an error and you have to look for the whatever is highlighted to see what this error is. Now, I've gone through this several times and I couldn't for the life of me find the highlighted thing. The only thing I saw was that the paperback rights and pricing was still in process. And once that went green and I pressed that publish button again, then it actually did publish. But like I said, once it took 7 hours and once it took 30 minutes. So it is very important that you budget your time, be good at time management so that you don't run out of time and you still make your deadline.